Hello friends, and welcome to The Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you might still be wondering where I am, and I am in a temporary office because they are apparently removing asbestos from the building that I usually work in. So I'm in a temporary office. That's why my background looks a little bit wonky. Please bear with me. Also, you know that I am in the middle of my deep dive into the Lenormand system, right? Yeah, the system that originated in Germany under the, translated into English, title of The Game of Hope, but then was renamed in France for ostensibly advertising purposes, yeah, to sell the deck more. They added the name of Madame Lenormand to the deck, so we have the Lenormand deck. And that deck has spread around the world, and you can find it here in Korea, you can find it in all corners of the globe, I believe. And it's a wonderful system. And I'm really enjoying diving into the system and learning and exploring the system. And I hope you're enjoying watching me stumble my way through this. So, friends, we've got a spread all laid out. Last video, I changed my presentation style a little bit. I'm going to keep trying that. And if you have any comments about the order that I'm presenting things in, please let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I'm going to save my, where I used to do an entry into the spread by bringing our attention to a specific topic, we're going to dive right into the spread right away. Okay? But before we do that, let me thank you. Thank you for doing those things that you do. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for commenting, for those of you who comment below. Those are all wonderful things that you do, and they're wonderful because they help other people find us. So if you do all of those things, our community will grow, is growing because of you. And yeah, more people, the more the merrier, right? And so, friends, we have got a Lenormand spread all laid out. Well, one more thing. Just in case you are interested in getting a reading from me, my web address for the shop, my online tarot shop, is going to be at the end of this video. There'll be a QR code. All that information will be there. Okay, so friends, let's first dive into the spread. First, I will show you the spread, and I will tell you about the cards. I've changed up the cards a little bit. And then we will look at the spread in detail, and we'll read the spread in a couple of different ways. And then we'll do a sum up at the end of the video. Okay? And then the QR code. Okay, friends, here we go. We have got a great spread and a great deck. Let me show it to you right now. Friends, is this not a stunning deck? And I must apologize because that is the standard format here on YouTube. This deck, to my knowledge, is out of print. Yeah, this is a deck, a Lenormand deck by both Robert M. Place and our dearly beloved, recently departed into the astral sphere, Rachel Pollack. Yeah, Rachel Pollack wrote the book and Robert M. Place drew the deck. And it's a wonderful collaboration. I highly recommend it. But like I said, it's out of print, at least for the moment. So if you want to get this deck, I would recommend sending a message to Robert M. Place. And I'll put a link in the description box below to his website, and maybe we can convince him to reprint the deck. Maybe that would be possible. I think it should be possible. It's a gorgeous deck. It's a big deck. Now, the reason I decided to use this deck at this time, well, there are two reasons. One, I've wanted to use this deck for a while. Two, we're soon going to get into larger spreads that I think will be even more difficult to see
with the size of this deck on camera. This deck is a big one. I don't know if you know people like me who complain about the Ciro Marchetti Lenormand deck being so big. Yeah, this one is almost that size. So this is not a deck that you would use, that I would want to use, for example, a grand tableau. I don't have a table big enough. Yeah, but it's a gorgeous deck, and for 3 card spreads, this 7 card spread, even a 9 card, it's okay. But like I said, even a 9 card, taking a photo in this format, I think the cards would look too small. So I wanted to use it for this spread because it's a biggie. And wow, the images are just so well drawn. Robert M. Place is just a phenomenal artist. And you notice that some of the images might be a little bit odd. There's one card here that is one of 2 additional cards for this deck. And we'll talk about that card, but maybe you've already noticed. It's the one that was all the way on the left-hand side, that very end. That's one of the additional cards. And I decided to use it in the deck, and I will continue to use it in the deck, and if it shows up, we're going to read it. Okay? So this is called now what is the name of the deck? It'll be in the description box below. The deck is called... The deck's name is gone from my head. Let me see if it's on the back. No, it's not on the back. But it's a great deck. Okay, so this is the 7 card spread. Now, just in case you are new here, this 7 card spread I call, and other people have called, the airstrip spread. I've heard it called some other things too, but for me it's an airstrip spread. And the point of this spread is that it takes us from point A to point B. I should say for you, point A to point B, right? So the card on the extreme left, that is where we start. The card on the extreme right is where we finish. Now, when you use this spread, it is entirely possible and highly recommended in many cases for you to deliberately choose that first card on the left and then that last card on the right as significators, and then shuffle the deck and draw the cards in between, so you know where you're starting, you know where you want to go, and then you find out how to get there. But for the purposes of this video, I did not do that. Yeah, I let the deck show us where we want to begin and where we will end in the coming week, because my question every week is, how can we live our lives more intentionally in the coming week? Yes? And so, this is our help. So friends, what am I going to do? First, I will show you those cards again, just so now that you've got it in your head what that spread is supposed to be telling us, so you can get another glance at the images there, the symbols there, and then we will read the spread together. Are you all set? Friends, here we go. Friends, I double-checked the name of the deck. It's called the Burning Serpent Oracle. And there will be a link in the description box below so that you can go to Robert M. Place's page for this deck, where it says it's out of print, but there's also a big email address there. And if you click on that, you can send him an email and maybe ask him very, very nicely to find a way to reprint this deck, because it is a phenomenal deck. It's a wonderful deck. Yes? So, do that. Now, you just saw again that we had from left to right, in this order, the bear, the moon, the ship, the key, the star, that is the star card, the woman, and then Isis. And Isis is one of the 2 additional cards for this deck. Yeah, he gives us a number, instead of just 36, 37, which is Osiris, and 38, which is Isis. And they are another layer of person card on top of the man and woman. They're the elevated
male and female, masculine, feminine figures in this deck. So we'll get to more detail about that when we get to the card for Isis. But before we read the cards individually, you know that I like to get a general overview of the spread, right? And looking at the spread as a general overview, the bear is a neutral card. The moon is positive neutral for me. The ship is positive neutral. The key is positive. The stars are positive. The woman is neutral, and Isis, by extension, is also neutral. So we got a very, actually, positive spread here. Yeah? We don't have all of the positive cards out on the table, but we do have two of them. And the rest of the cards are either neutral or positive neutral, so we've got a very nice spread. Yes? And we're going to start off with the bear. What is a bear? Look at this gorgeous bear. Isn't that Robert's art? Robert M. Place's art is just incredible. This bear is a strong, powerful, independent creature, right? They are the top of the food chain wherever they live. They are known to be the protective parent, especially the mama bear. Yes? They can be overpowering. Yeah? They can wreak havoc when they get spooked, but they're strong and they are protective of those who are close to them. And because this is the first card in the spread, this is where we want to begin. This is our starting place. Our starting place, we want to start this week as the bear, as the powerful one, right? The strong, supportive one. But remember, we also have the cuddly aspect of teddy bears, right? There are cuddly aspects of bears that are on friendly terms with us. So that cuddle bear aspect might be beneficial for us as well. The bear can be a supervisor. So if you're a supervisor, if you're a boss person, that's great for you. This is a good indication for where you should be. You should own your power. If not, we might get help from our boss people. That would be wonderful. Now, the bear can also be an older woman, a matriarch, yeah? A powerful woman, maybe a little bit scary. Yeah, like I think my grandmother, for example, she was a Scorpio, and she wasn't the cuddliest grandma, yeah? I'm not saying, that's not me talking that dirt about her, but she wasn't the most cuddly woman. She was a wrestly kind of woman, if that makes sense, yeah? When we were together, what she would want to do when I was a small child was wrestle me. She wasn't like the, oh, give me a hug kind of person. She was the playful wrestler. An excellent cook, a very protective person. If you got on her wrong side, if you attacked anybody in her family, you watch out. That's the kind of person I think of when I think of the bear. She was also the one who I think I got my card reading gene from. Just saying. So, if we have somebody like that in our vicinity, we could get help from them. But I think also we want to embody that for ourselves and for others. We want to be protective of those we care for. We want to be strong. We want to be careful of our potential to be overpowering, overbearing, aggressive, but we want to be strong. Yeah? And watch out for those around us. And where does that lead us? That leads us to the moon. Yes? The moon, a lovely card. I mean, especially this this drawing of, this imagining of the card. But the moon is also a lovely card.
It's intuition. What do we think of when we think of the moon? We think of cycles, right? Cycles of time, 28 days, of getting brighter and then dimming and then getting brighter. We think of the moon as it affects our emotions, especially through its pull on water, right? We think of it as light, but not strong, harsh light, but soft light that gently lights the night when it's in full radiance. So we also think of lunacy, right? Lunacy, craziness. Yeah? Also werewolves are maybe part of that too. But for us, I think this moon is not so much lunacy, but maybe that soft, gentle light in the sky. It could be also our emotions. Our emotions might be a little bit in flux now. So that's something we might want to consider coming from this state of power of the bear. If our emotions are in flux, we might want to be aware of that. But our intuition might be strong, right? Our dream life might be strong now. We might learn from that. Now, the moon is also thought of as the card of reputation and rising success, which would be wonderful. So as the bear, we might get some rising success now. Right? For me, the moon is also my secondary business. I know people place the job card and the secondary job card in different places. For me, the heart card, the doing the thing that we love, which could also be the heart card, but the heart business, because of the way I was taught Lenormand, it rests here in the moon. And sure, I could be wrong. But for me, because I have that association, that is how the card falls for us in this spread, right? So our strength, our protectiveness might be able to empower our heart businesses. For example, for me, one of my heart businesses is doing this here with you, right? It's reading cards. It's teaching tarot. It's all things tarot related are one of my heart businesses, and some aspects of it draw money away from me. Yeah, it's not exactly a source of income for me, but it's a source of power and empowerment and excitement and passion for me, right? So yeah, so from our strength, we could get our intuition enhanced. Our emotional life might be a little bit in flux, but our dream life could be important for us. We might get a little bit more recognition. And if we have a heart business or a heart thing that we do because we love it, that could be important for us right now. And that moves us into what card? The ship card, which tells us what? What is a ship? It's a vehicle that travels long distances slowly, right? It also hauls cargo. So, if you have a business that involves cargo and merchandise, that could be something here for you. Yeah, so if your heart business is some kind of commerce that includes goods, then yeah, we're flowing in those goods are moving towards the next card. Trade, commerce, right? Also, it could include travel. It does not for me. If you're going on a trip, that's great. So we're moving from our intuition and our dream life, perhaps our heart business brings us on a trip, maybe, but it can also be bringing us on a metaphorical trip, right? The journey of our heart business, which is not a quick journey, it's a slow journey over great time and distance. And that leads us to what? The key. And the key here is here in the center. It's the key card.
The key card is the key card. It's the key of this spread, right? It's the central card. And it's a positive card. And what do keys do? They unlock things, right? They open things for us. They open doors. They open boxes. They open treasure. So the key card is a card of success. It's also the yes card. It's the answer. And the answer will come in the next card, perhaps. Now, the answer can follow the key card. It's like an exclamation point here in the middle of the spread that yes, our strength, our protectiveness, will lead us to strong use of intuition, heightened dream life, perhaps rising success, rising reputation, perhaps our heart business, which is going on a journey that is going to take some time. Yes, that is the key. That is the answer. Or that is the key. That is where our success will come from. Yes? And so, because the answer lies in the next card is the star card, right? The guiding star. The answer is in our North Star, our guiding star, our hope, our destiny. Destiny, destiny, right? Our destiny. So, this is a destined thing for us. Well, we can screw it up for ourselves pretty good if we want to, but if we don't, if we encompass ourselves as the bear, if we embody our inner bear, and we allow ourselves to rise as the moon, maybe engage in our heart business, right? We look at our dream life, we engage with our intuition, and we go on this long journey which gives us success and the star, good fortune. This is what is guiding us, is drawing us. Now, it could be that we become the star too. We could become the star of our story. Also wonderful. Also, prophecy is indicated with the star, right? Astrology. We look at the stars, we see future, we see potential, we see who we are and where we're going. Just like cartomancers like me read cards, people read the stars. They're called astrologers, right? So there's that potential here too, that we might get some help from maybe an astrologer. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. So if you thought about getting an astrological reading from a real live human instead of just online, this might be a good time to do that. They might give us, you, me, some help as to where we're going. Right? That could be an answer for us. Which is interesting because the next card is the woman card. Right? So maybe this is the astrologer. Perhaps. Right? The woman, for us in this reading, is not the significator because I'm reading for all of us through me. Yeah? All of us through me. So that means for me, the woman card is the partner card. And I look at the woman as potentially cis or trans woman, possible. A non-binary person presenting as woman, possible. But I honestly do not read this card with gender all of the time. Sometimes. Like, for example, looking for an astrologer, I might want to look for a female presenting astrologer. I know a bunch of them. So that might be possible. But also we could think of this as our partner in life, our partner person. And that partner person could be male, could be female, could be intersex, could be trans, could be cis. Yes? However that person presents, Whoever that partner is for us, this is that card. And one interesting thing about this card, which we'll get into a little bit later, is that the game of hope. Yeah, the game of hope was a game. And the game of hope worked a little bit like, do you know the game Chutes and Ladders? Where if you land on a space, sometimes there's a ladder that will carry you up, sometimes there's a chute that will carry you down. And you were supposed to start with the rider. You put your token, they had tokens, they'd lay out basically what we would call the tableau, probably a 9x4 tableau. They'd start their token in the upper left-hand corner, and they would move from the rider. They'd toss dice, right? They'd move that number of spaces, and the goal was to land on the anchor, which is card 35. If you overshot the anchor and landed on card 36, you had to freeze there on the cross. And some cards linked to other cards. So you would move from, for example, here, yeah, the woman. The woman card links to the moon. So you'd move from, if you landed on the woman, you'd move to the moon. So you'd move from number 29 to number 32. You get what I mean? Yes? So when we read Lenormand, we can also consider those associations. And the woman associates with the moon, and we have both of these cards here on the table. Yes? So our partner, whether female or all of that on the spectrum, our partner also links to our intuition and our emotions and our dream life. And perhaps our heart business. Yes? So that's the penultimate step here in our journey. Yes, we look at the stars, and our stars point to our partner. Or a female, again, astrologer. And then we land where? We land in Isis. Who is Isis? Do you remember the stories about Isis? Isis was the sister wife, yes, sister and wife of Osiris. Her husband, her brother was Osiris. And her brother's brother got pissed off at probably both Isis and Osiris, and decided to take revenge by chopping up his brother and tossing the parts all over the world. And Isis was, of course, at first distraught, but would not stand for this and collected the pieces. Now, I just learned recently that she, restored, revived, she reassembled Osiris twice. That's something I hadn't realized in the past, but she did this twice. She had to put her husband back together twice. So she is a goddess, yes? She is steadfast. She is dedicated to her husband brother. She's persistent in what she does. Do you see her headdress there? Do you see the creature on her headdress? It's another very interesting thing. So, if you know Egypt at all, you know that the pharaohs, the later pharaohs, had two different animals on their pharaoh headdress. Yes? One is the snake, one is the vulture. Because one of the animals was from Upper Egypt and one of them was from Lower Egypt, and when the kingdom united, the pharaoh had both of these animals. And Isis here has no, it's not a snake, it's the vulture. Why is that important? Well, the vulture is not a bad bird. We think of vultures as disgusting creatures that eat dead, rotting things, but that is a good thing. In the past, before we had burying technology, yeah, some people would lay the bones of their dead loved ones out intentionally for the vultures to come pick off the flesh, eat the flesh and leave the bones. So the bones would be held sacred, and the dead decomposing part was removed by the vultures. And the vultures do a remarkable thing. They eat rotted things, decomposing things which are toxic, and through their digestive system, they are purified. So the vulture is also a purifying agent. And it clears away what is worn and out of I want to say fashion, but worn out, or things that are festering, things that are old and unnecessary. So she's got that capability with herself. She will reconstruct and she will purify the decomposing, the worn out. Now, according to Robert M. Place, we might want to approach whatever task we're doing with idealism. We might want to engage our idealistic temperaments in whatever we're doing. Right? We start off with as being the bear, protective, but we might want to end up as the idealist. Yeah? And interestingly, when Isis is to the right of the woman, or the partner card, right? That partner might not be completely open. They might be concealing or holding down their own talents, their own potential. Now, when the card is to the left of the woman, then that is all revealed. However, because card is behind the woman, the woman, our partner, again, whatever sex, whatever gender, it doesn't matter, the partner could be concealing or holding down their own talents. So that might be something that we might want to do to foster, to encourage, to support our partners in their talents. But also, our partner is here to help lead us toward our own idealism, our own power as the higher self, our higher intuitive self, the dedicated one, the persistent, persevering one, the one that can purify things that are rotting and come up with something pure. That is the journey that we're taking from our powerful, protective selves into our dedicated, higher selves of perseverance, of purifying, of supporting, of achieving the impossible, perhaps even. And our idealism. And idealism is not a bad thing, always. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we say, he or she is just idealistic. There's no understanding of reality. But there are times when we're living an intentional life where idealism is beneficial. And that might be the title of this video, Idealism. Yeah? So friends, okay, now there's another way for us to read this spread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the spread once more so you get the whole picture, and then we're going to look at mirror cards. Yeah? I'll talk about mirror cards in just a moment, but let me show you the spread once more. Here it is. Friends, we're here to talk about mirrors, right? And what does that mean? Mirrors. When we look at a spread, we can look at cards that mirror each other, right? Perhaps on opposite ends of the spread, perhaps on the cards that are on the sides of a central significator card. Now, we think of cards as mirrors, and we can read those together to get supporting information. So for this spread, we look at the key as the key card, like I said, the key of the spread, and then we look at the cards closest to the key as being mirrors, and then the next cards as mirrors, and then the end cards as mirrors, right? So we're starting off with, again, the key card is central. The key is the key to this spread. And the two cards flanking the key are the star and the ship. The star and the ship. And okay, so I'd like to talk about the star card just a little bit. Yeah? You notice that this is an angel with a powerful angel. You see the star on the shield and the star on the headband. So that's where we get the star symbols in this card. And it's a strong, powerful, probably like a Gabriel-like angel here, holding the sword up, which makes me think of Michael a little bit. But anyways, one thing that's a little bit difficult with this deck for me is that we don't have playing card inserts. We do have playing card information, which I appreciate. But for example, here, do you see where my finger is? That is the playing card information for this card. And what we see here is 6H. It's in red. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually not all that easy to see in person. It's there. But because that red 6H, red because it's a heart, and H for hearts, on top of that kind of dusty rose background with white, makes it very difficult to see. So it's difficult to see those playing card inserts in this deck, which is a little bit unfortunate. However, I'm not sure that I would want Robert Place to change that, because the design, the overall design of the deck is so wonderful. You'd really have to redo the concept, I think, of how to do the borders of the cards. And so, anyways, they are a little difficult to see, but they're there. We see the voyage and the star, which is great, because what do we think of when we think of ships? Especially ships at the time of the creation of the Game of Hope and Lenormand. How did ships guide themselves? How did they navigate? Well, they looked at the stars, right? So we're on this journey, and it's a long journey, but we do have our guide here. We have our star, our guiding star. Does that make sense? Yeah? So the spread is, I think, talking about a journey. We are talking about a journey through time from the bear to our higher selves in Isis, and we do have a guiding star. We have something that points our way, and it could be our internal North Star. Have you ever read the book North Star? It's a good book. It's a book about finding our inner compass. Maybe I'll put a link, if I remember, in the description box below to an Amazon site for that book. I really liked it. I enjoyed reading that book. It was helpful for me when I read it 15 years ago, maybe. Anyways, so, good book. But we have our North Star. We have something guiding us here. We're not lost unless we choose to ignore the stars, right? Unless we choose to ignore our inner pull. Which points us to the next two cards, right? The next two cards are the woman and the moon. And remember I said that the woman moves to the moon? Well, here they are mirrored. So our partner, who is intuitive perhaps, and receptive, is perhaps guided by the moon, intuition, emotion, dream life. Now, so there are a couple of ways to go with this, right? We could get guidance, we could get help through the dream life, through the intuition of our partner, or perhaps our partner will be in our dreams. Yeah, our partner will be I don't know if intuition works this way for you ever, but sometimes I get this feeling of, oh, my partner would do this. This would be good for me. It's not like a rational, oh, what should I do? What would my partner say? My partner would probably tell me this because of, but you get that kind of gut feeling of, oh, my partner would tell me to do this.
Or our intuition could be our partner, right? We could think of our intuition as our partner in life right now. So there are those things possible here. We've got our guidance through our journey, and our intuition could be our partner, or our partner's intuition can help us. Or our intuition can appear as partner for us, right? And then the next two cards are what? Where we start and where we finish. They mirror each other. The bear and Isis. A powerful. So Isis is, again, this goddess, our higher selves, our higher feminine selves. We all have masculine and feminine aspects, right? We want to move towards our higher feminine aspect, our divine feminine, our dedicated, persistent self that has the strength of bear, yes? That is protective like bear. That is willing to go out there and reassemble their brother husband twice. And then there's the whole thing of the golden phallus, which is an entire different part of the story. But yeah, achieving the impossible. Our strength will help us achieve the impossible. And that's our journey, and that's where we're headed towards. We don't lose the bear to get to Isis. We bring our bear selves into our what? Our evolution into our Isis self. Whether we are in male bodies, in female bodies, in trans bodies, in cis bodies, in intersex bodies, it doesn't matter. We're moving into our Isis selves. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because I think this is a very positive, powerful reading. And we're going to get, we're going to get a lot of help in the second video for this week, where we will dive into the central message of this spread. But I think this spread is pretty clear. Don't you? And I think we're moving into our idealism. I think that is our, not destination, but the milestone that we're moving towards, our idealism. And our idealism is going to be of help for us. Now, when we think of idealism, we think of it in a rather negative way in modern society, right? We think of that person who is idealistic as being out of touch with reality, of being perhaps a Pollyanna, of having rose-colored glasses on, not seeing the truth, deluding themselves. But idealism can be a very positive thing, especially when we want to live our lives intentionally. When we live intentionally, we know that we want to be open to all possibilities, and we want to have faith, we want to trust, we want to have love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness, and we want to know in the depths of our souls that we are moving in the direction of the lives that we want to live. We don't want to put our attention on the pitfalls and the traps and this could go wrong or that could go wrong. Or if we put too much attention on that and become cynical, perhaps the opposite of idealistic, we will close ourselves off and prevent ourselves from moving forward as quickly as we possibly could to those experiences that we have ourselves placed on our powerful current of intention. We want to open up to our idealistic selves now, especially now at the beginning of the year. We have entered a new year, right? And contrary to popular culture, now is the time for us to open up to our
idealism. Not perfectionism, not this isn't good enough, that isn't good enough, that isn't good enough, where's the good thing that I'm expecting? Our idealism, where we can see the ideal of each and everything around us. We can see the ideal of our partner. We can see the ideal of ourselves. We can see the ideal of the beautiful dreams that we've dreamt for ourselves. And if we can rest in that space and open ourselves to the powerful current of our individual and collective intention, we will be able to move in the direction of that ideal and encounter and experience it. If we're able to let go of the critical, cynic side of ourselves, whatever we encounter will be ideal, because we know that everything is perfect as it is, right? And that isn't necessarily, according to this spread, that isn't a weakness, that is strength. Because that's where we're beginning. We begin with our power, we begin with our strength, and we allow that strength to evolve into idealism. Can you feel the powerful aspect of idealism that is possible here, that potential? Instead of idealism, which is so clouded in cynicism when we say it like that. They're just so idealistic. La-di-da-di-da-di-da, right? It sounds weak. It sounds dangerous even, because of that a perceived detachment from reality. Instead of being the idealist, the powerful idealist, who transforms and evolves and brings forth the ideal that is, the ideals that are possible, the infinite ideals that are possible in this universe of abundance. Can you engage that? Can you engage your powerful inner idealist? The one that you were born as? We were all born as idealists. Powerful idealists. In bodies that wanted to grow. We wanted those bodies to grow, and thank God they have grown, right? We're here watching this, in understanding the language, able to manipulate the world around us, able to move through the world around us independently. As independently as we can. Now, there are some of us who may not be able to walk and move completely independently, but still, we have the independence of adulthood. And I'm assuming that because if you are able to watch and hear and understand this video, your mind is functioning. And if your mind is functioning at an adult level, you have an amount of independence. If you're able to own that, whatever your physical condition is, if you're able to own that, like, what is his name? Arthur Frankl? The man who was in a concentration camp in the Holocaust and discovered his idealism. Yeah? If he, trapped there in those conditions, eating rotten food, can find his idealism, we certainly can now. Yes? So, friends, that is our positive challenge for this week. I hope that makes sense for you. If it does, let me know in the comments below. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below. How would you read this spread? I'd love to hear from you. And friends, in just a moment, there will be a QR code for my website, my web
tarot shop. Use that if you like. Come check out what I have to offer you. And if you want, order a reading from me. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.